Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is a ladder match on Loki. Classic map. One of the classic maps that is a custom map and not a GPG map. One of the few. Unfortunately, I can't remember who made it. It's a very old map though, at this point. Now the players, well, we have one very old player right here. Blackheart. He's playing ladder again. And over here, this is Turin. I'm just going to call him Turin. I don't know what that is. Abazur San. Turin. That's who it is. With a big rating lead, so opportunity for some nice juicy points. Should Blackheart win. And Blackheart's playing UEF and Turin Seraphim. So we got, what is that? Fourth air from Turin. Bit risky. Oh, and look at that. Blackheart's going second air, so this could be painful. He's also making a lab. Could be painful for Turin. Fourth air is not seen too often on this map. So we got the normal first couple engineers go to the trees, reclaim them, and then expand down to the Hydra on the mexes. This lab is going for the 3-mex expansion. So go for the engineer that's going to be sent along this way very soon, and Blackheart is expanding with his other engineers, is not assisting his commander yet, and has no tanks yet. Already Turin has a tank and 3 Selines. That's pretty expensive. Selines are quite expensive units for what they, well, for their their combat ability. They're quite expensive. And he's going to try and block mass extractors with them. They have a cloak ability, stealth and cloak ability, which turns them invisible once they stop moving. And you press the toggle button, it will activate, and they won't shoot anything. And they'll just stand there and give you amazing intel. It's very useful to make these early on in the game. And also to leave them behind if you're raiding somewhere. You bring a Celine with you, you can leave the Celine there. So it looks like this lab has been spotted, and there's actually going to be 2 tanks here. Still no engineer expanding yet. Now 2 engineers heading in that direction, but this lab is not going to achieve much except maybe take up the time of a couple tanks just for a moment. This one sort of was going this direction, and now it was redirected. So, did we make a bomber? Nope, we didn't. Blackheart second air and making inties. So he didn't really take advantage of what Turin was doing. Turin still does not have an air factory. If Blackheart should scout. Maybe if you go second air, he went interceptor first. Maybe he should go scout first, so he can immediately see what's going on. Scouts build very quickly, so it doesn't slow your interceptor down very much. So we've got a few tanks around. This scout here is for spotting bombers, and you see the NT patrolling as well. I think it's better to have the scout maybe a bit further this way so you have more time to react. But here comes a tank from Turin. Both those tanks that took out the lab, and they get a nice 2v1. You can see Turin chases this down, gets a really good trade, and now with these 2 tanks you can easily kill the second tank and raid Blackheart, which would be quite a painful raid. There's a lot of mass here to be got, and the mexes are not constructed yet, so if Turin pays attention, gets these kills, it's gonna hurt. Down the bottom, well, we have almost all the tanks are going south for Turin. He's not protecting his engineer, and he should have lost his engineer here. Oh, what? Where'd the other tank go? Oh, Oh, he loses it. I think he reclaimed one of the tanks with the engineer. Maybe one stayed back here and one moved forward. So Turin eventually does actually get the engineer kill, but he doesn't kill the tank. The engineer is what he wanted to kill. You can see Blackheart was building power generators to try and block the shots of the Tham. He was successful. Almost successful. He did block a couple of shots, but not enough. One mech's raided by this Tham, but he could have raided this engineer. I think he had an air scout flying past here, so he probably could have seen it. But he didn't, and Blackheart's ACU is actually heading towards the 3 mechs expansion. And he's getting many nice kills. These kills here are really good. Early on in the game, if you can kill, well, the civilians are helping Turin here. But if you can kill, look at this. What's that? 5 tanks, 6 tanks, or maybe one of them was a scout. But look at all this free kills. 7 tanks that Turin no longer has, and they've done 0 damage whatsoever. Unfortunately, looks like Blackheart lost his engineer here, so he's gonna not have this expansion. Meanwhile, Turin does have his expansion and the rock that goes along with it. Now Blackheart meets the ACU of Turin, and he's gonna retreat now and take his expansions most likely. Can't continue moving in this direction, and now he's out of range. He's quite safe and he can retreat. If he was in, as long as he's in range of the ACU, he could be in danger because there could be many tanks coming, as he is closer obviously to Turin's base than his own. And he has very few tanks in support. This nice scout is going to spot the engineer, and Blackheart should be able to take it out easily and deny this expansion. Over here we have a scout, but it's too far away to see this engineer building the factory. I wonder what this engineer is going to do. Perhaps he's just waiting in the water to see if this one gets raided, and if it doesn't, then he can send it. Or if it does get raided, then he still has an engineer nearby. It looks like he's going to go build the land factory now that he sees there's no tank around. There's often a tank waiting on the other side of the water for the engineers that come from the hydro. So both ACUs on the same side. Turin making a lot of spam. He has a lot of T1 factories here, and he has 1 T2 mechs on the way. Blackheart meanwhile already has a T2 mechs. He's getting a nice bit of assistance here. This has doubled his air production here, these 4 engineers. And we have T2 land coming for Blackheart. He's done with T1. Or he will be once he upgrades. Oh, these engineers were not killed, and they've actually got a PD up, so they should be safe. However, they won't be able to take the mass extractors. These tanks down here have been found, probably by this air scout. You can see the air scouts can give you so much. You can't put your units in the right place if you don't know what's going on the map. So he has a lot of vision in front of him that keeps his ACU safe. He knows that the ACU is over here and not coming towards his commander, which could be, it's always very dangerous if you have both commanders at the same side. You get caught in range of the enemy ACU and are missing a few tanks, then you could die right there and then. This is a bomber attacking the top left expansion. Blackheart trying to raid the top side. He should finish the mechs. It's very low. Oh, will Turin keep 2 mechs alive? Oh, 2 HP. Oh my god. Oh, there it goes. Nice. He got all 3 mechs. I thought he was going to leave 2 extremely low HP mechs there, but no. Got them both, and that makes this raid very nice. Could have been a bit of a failed raid there otherwise. And T2 land just about finished. Turin making moves towards Blackheart's base. We have a factory here. It can be good even to build a land factory on this side and make some Zuis to come across here. It's quite expensive to have this PD and factory here and still not be able to grab the mexes. And now Blackheart has his corner here. He defended against the bomber, he got his factory up, didn't invest in a PD until now in a much better spot. And he's raided the 3-mex expansion. Blackheart is going towards home with his commander. Maybe he's afraid of the ACU coming into the base, but that seems very unlikely. Look, he had even started a PD, but is now reclaiming it as it's no longer necessary. There's units killing the 3-mex expansion, but a PD goes up at exactly the right time. There is always build power here because you need those engineers for reclaim, so not having any artillery. Oh wait, no, we have 1 artillery, so he can take out this PD and kill potentially the factory and everything else there. Blackheart on the other side is getting some raiding of his own done, taking out this mex and trying to hide in the corners to stay alive and maybe kill 1 more. Seems unlikely now though. Turin in a slightly precarious position maybe, but he's doing exactly the right thing. This is a nice micro. It looks like he could get surrounded, but it's not that much of a danger. There's not enough T1 tanks. He has an army here. Needs to get some overcharges in. Blackheart has just sniped the single artillery that was killing this PD, and the PD is now finished, and in that time another one has been constructed. So this expansion is safe now with the reinforcements, pillars here, and Turin's losing his units. Does seem to have air control. Blackheart isn't challenging him, although he's not too far behind. It's pretty similar. Ooh, 14, but there's 5 out of fuel, so Blackheart actually has more that actually have fuel. That's an advantage. Now some units coming for the 4-mex expansion. This is still not taken by either player. It's a lot of Zuis that Turin made. It's expensive. Look at that, over 400 mass. He lost some of them as well, I think. And still no mexes there. But maybe he can crush this expansion because still Blackheart is, well, he left this expansion with his ACU. Now Blackheart trying to get some PD. And he's going to try and defend with PD and Lobos standing beside them, which is a nice way to defend. When you're in a situation like this, you can't make more units. You just have to try and micro to kill the Zuis with your artillery and keep rebuilding, repairing PD to try and stay alive to keep the tanks off you. But there's a lot of Zuis, so it's not going to work. With this many Zuis, everything just dies. So there's no hope, really. And now the tanks are moving in, and this expansion is doomed. Important kills for Turin here. He's going to take the bottom side, and now actually aiming to take even more map control with his ACU. This is a nice move. Potentially. Now there's other problems happening on the other side of the map, potentially for him. He has spotted the 2 PDs. There's going to be 1 more, perhaps. Although Blackheart's stalling, so it's not going to be building as fast as he would like. And Turin needs to keep the Zuis alive. He nearly ran into range of the PD there. Turin actually making T2 air, and that's going to defend against this raid. If you look at the reclaim, Blackheart pretty far ahead actually, and he has more power income, and this expansion is going to die. PD is going to do some damage to the ACU, but it's going down, and that's a map control advantage for now for Turin. These T2 gunships are doing nice. They're going to generate some reclaim from this raid, and factory here would be nice. Also, factory anywhere in the top side would be nice. We have one there. Still, Turin has this expansion. He hasn't been able to get engineers over here, and now there's quite a decent sized army coming in this direction with the ACU as well, which is decided to relocate. Maybe he didn't need to leave. Maybe it was just Turin's ACU move sort of provoked it, I would say. And right now we have 13 pillars, not bad. Still quite a few T1 tanks, and now some T1 factory recycling is going on. Do we have any flax? No flax whatsoever, but a decent number of interceptors. More than Turin does have, but Turin has a couple of Notas, and it's what, 3 gunships as well, a 4th. It's a lot of potential damage. For example, this army here, more reclaim generation possibilities. Please build a factory. Oh, this could be nasty. Always nasty sending this hover across to this expansion. Annoying bombers doing random damage. Probably not that useful. Want to aim for the radars. Now that is useful to kill, and annoying. More useful because of its annoyance. It gives your opponent. So map control getting evened out again. Equality for all. And Blackheart has, well, he's making his 4th T2 mechs. You can see he has mass in the bank, so assist, make those mechs faster, and then you'll be more efficient. Don't waste time. Time is a very precious resource. So this expansion is killed. The ACU stops here to build and then continues on. Or maybe he had some engineers with him as well. Reclaim. Blackheart significantly ahead. And this could be an air fight. And Blackheart has a lot of air right now. You see, done all from one factory, just adding more engineers to assist. The advantage of making engineers over more factories is, well, you can get some mobile build power. It can be used for anything in your base. So adding a lot of air factories is not usually too good, unless you get very nice adjacency. That looks dangerous, very dangerous to go into someone's base like that, and he's still not microing. He's just patrolling. That could lose him air control here. He does have, definitely had less, or Turin definitely had less, but got nice trades there. Although now it becomes, oh, now we had a really bad turn from Turin there at the end, and Blackheart still wins air. Macro over micro. And now the threats of T2 air are not too bad. Oh, that's not going to kill the T2 Pigeon. He has killed one. Turin has. He's not going to kill this one though. He's going to get another pass. He probably won't even kill anything else. One engineer. And now somehow the inties stop firing. Oh, excuse me. Oh my god. Blackheart, who's just one air, is under attack from 5 T2 Seraphim gunships. More powerful than other T2 gunships. It's taking his health down very rapidly. He's at 3,500 as he's getting towards the water. He needs to get into the deep water. Oh, get down. Oh my god. 2,200. But now the air has arrived, and it's going to kill all the gunships. Are there torpedo bombers? Well, Turin actually has gone for T3 land. Already has T3 land. He skipped the T2 stage completely. He just went T1 land, into T2 air, into T3 land. And that is expensive. He's invested a lot here, and here comes his first Autumn. And he can absolutely annihilate all of this as long as he doesn't get surrounded. So Blackheart building more power. Staying on T2. He definitely knows that there's T3. Those Autumn sounds are pretty distinctive. And looks like he didn't lose his stuff here. He has got a lot of tanks parked here to stop hover from being a problem. Even a pillar. I guess it's not a bad way to use your T1. It's not going to do too much on the field against Autumns. Oh, nice drop here. A couple of pillars dropped to the 2-mex expansion. Oh, that is upgrading. Maybe this one was as well. I'm not sure. It's not unusual for both to be upgrading at once. Oh, it just got to T2, so it gets a big health boost. And now the Autumn is here. So maybe he has actually saved it. God, the health boost from upgrading a mech is nuts. I hear some gunships now. Blackheart has C2 air and he's raiding these mechs. There are no factories. I mentioned it before. It would be nice if there's a factory here. Imagine. Now, to rebuild those mechs could take a long time without the use of a transport. Which makes this raid extremely good. Even if he kills these T2 mechs, if there's nothing around to rebuild them for 2 minutes, then that is quite nasty. And makes the raid extremely good. And he's actually going to lose all of these mechs. And pillars have just run past the commander and this army. So far, the Autumns, well, I haven't seen any go down, and now they're actually coming across the water. That's nice. He stops the raid and is going to raid the bottom expansion. Quite nice use of this commander, of this T3 land, I should say, nano repair for Blackheart. Turin is losing his whole topside and not doing the requisite damage on the other side. Is he really going to kill this Hydro? 230. I think he does kill it. Yep. Rip. So, Blackheart idle HQ sort of makes me think he's going to move to T3, but he's really lacking mass. I'm not sure he needs this P-gen. I think he's definitely already recycled some T1 power, I would say. Although I don't see decals on the ground. So maybe not. Maybe he just got his first one very quickly. Here is... Oh! 2 Autumns down already. That power being put to good use. That's a big loss. Now an Autumn dropped here, and gunships sent to raid. Pillars on the raiding path. And even Janus. And we're losing more mechs. These, as you can see, not being rebuilt anytime soon. And here's another air fight again over this nasty hill, and Blackheart definitely has more. No question. There's an Autumn on attack move, and there's pillars rapidly getting into range. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's more of them coming, and this Autumn is gonna die. Now a second Autumn running right into the jaws of all of these pillars once again. That flak could potentially get Turin an air win. Now this Autumn is being microed much better. But I think he has no vision. He needs a radar. You can put a radar on this side to give him vision. Oh, he's gonna get surrounded again. And he's trying to defend with Autumns, but he's losing mechs everywhere. And he's even gonna lose an Autumn down here. I don't know what that T2 engineer was doing. The 3 mechs expansion is dead. The top side, finally, we have an engineer here trying to rebuild. This T2 mechs is probably gonna die. Oh god. It was about to die in the... Just the Janus are destroying them, even destroying Reclaim, which is quite mean. Janus is pretty good versus stationary targets. And now it looks very bad for Turin. He's lost so much there. And the Autumns, now he only has 6 Autumns. Now if he hadn't lost all these, he had one here, he lost, I mean at least 2, 3, lost at least 3 down here, 2 or 3 up here. So that's basically half the Autumns he built. And there's still a lot of pillars around, and again, one Autumn gonna get caught in the middle of an army. And this is a problem. Finally the Janus are gonna get killed. Not before dealing a lot of damage. Some consolation rating these T1 tanks. And again, the Autumns having a little bit of trouble. They're just always in such small numbers. And the kiting is not on point. And I think there's not much Blackheart can do to lose. He is now on T3. And, oh, okay, well, there's some things he can do to win, though. We have a T2 transport with 2 Percivals on it. Oh, that's another dead Autumn. Don't know how that died. And it's going to land directly under the shield. What good is a shield if I can go drop my Percies directly under the shield? And that is nasty. All the power is gonna die. Complete air victory. The Janus are killing T1 pigeons, bombing the factories. And the T2 power is dying. Well played by Blackheart. The T3 land did not work out for Turin. He lost air. Potentially because of that. He made some good use of his Autumns. I mean, defending here, doing some raiding here, but other Autumns were not grouped up and lost in basically individual battles versus 10 pillars in most cases, or even some T1 mixed in there. You can see here, once they group up, they'll wipe everything here without losing one. Maybe they lose this one. What is that? Is that a flak? Mid-explosion. But yeah, once you have a few of them, then you can quickly kill the pillars, but I think it was Miss Micro that cost him. You need to be very careful with those units. Also running a couple into the ACU here. Hurt a lot. He lost two of his first T3 units. And on top of that gave Blackheart 1200 mass to reclaim and put into his own units and economy. So, well played, both these players. Nice to see Blackheart playing ladder. And nice to play him on ladder. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Tune in soon for more cast.